Let's get to transfers now, and as we approach the summer window, it seems as if City are ready to make a major change between the sticks. If reports are to be believed, it's understood that the goalkeeper Ederson has a concrete chance of leaving Man City now this summer, with clubs in Saudi Arabia keen to reignite their interest in him after failing to sign him last summer. And
Yeah.
a potential replacement for Ederson it's been emerged in the form of Porto's Diogo Costa, with City sporting director Hugo Viana said to be working to finalise a deal for him now. Costa's said to have already spoken with Guardiola and goalkeeper coach Xabi Mansi-Sidor, and they reassured him that he would become a first choice goalkeeper next season. So Costa therefore is given the green light to join City, and it's thought that his agent Jorge Mendes is pushing to seal a
Yeah.
deal, and around £50 million is what Porto will ask for. So we've spoken before, Stephen, about the likelihood of Ederson leaving. Do you think that it's a matter of when, not if, Ederson's going to leave, and do you think it's the right time for him to go?
Yeah, at times this season, Ederson has looked like his head's not fully there. Some moments of excellence and some good form, but occasionally big moments where he switched off. And I think at the start of the season in particular, it was very evident that he was a little bit unhappy that he'd not got his move to the Saudi, where an awful lot of money was waiting for him. And also, I think there's an element of just a new challenge. I think Ederson's focus has shifted elsewhere. He's been here since 2017. It's an awful long time for anyone, and I think at his age, I don't blame him if he wants to chase that big final payday. A few years in Saudi Arabia will get him, generational wealth. It'll be an awful lot of money out there. And yeah, I think there's only so far he can go at City. He's won an awful lot. He's won everything really. I think Diogo Costa links, they are not going away. They make an awful lot of sense given Hugo Viana, his ties to Portugal in general. Jorge Mendes clearly got excellent communication with Manchester City with so many of his clients, especially Bernardo Silva in particular, work with City. So I mean, there's a lot in this. Diego Costa seems to be a smart signing. By all accounts, he's not had his best season apparently, but he's really good on the ball. He's an excellent shot stopper. He'll have less defensive work to do than he probably would do at Porto this season, which would be a benefit for him. They've got a 37-year-old in front of him at centre back, so and they lost their best midfielder, Nico Gonzalez, this season. So um, it's been a tough season for him, but he's one of the most highly rated young goalkeepers in Europe for a reason. We all saw the four penalty saves in a row. We also saw the mistake against United. So there's sort of ebbs and flows there. But I don't think you're going to be courted by Manchester City for this long with the specialists that you've got without having talent. And it feels very obvious to me, regardless of what any of us think, this is going to happen. Like this feels almost certain to be. Um, a record for City for a goalkeeper, an awful lot of money. But in this market, like, every player is a £50 million player these days. Like you just don't get if you sign the player for City, it's going to be 50 million. It always feels that way. They're at a good sized European club. And I expect this to happen. I expect Ederson to move on, City to get 15, 20 million or something like that for him. Uh, uh, I sort of wish, once again, as I was saying last week to you, I wish some of these things would happen before the end of the season so we could say goodbye to them because Ederson's a club legend. Um, but it feels right. I do feel where we're at right now with the obvious separation from the treble era and wanting to move on. I think that spans across the whole pitch, not just with midfield and so on. I think the keeper as well. I think Ederson. As soon as your head's turned elsewhere, I think that's when you think about letting a player go. And it's very obvious to me that Ederson wanted to go last year. I think he tried to save face a little bit with some like PR posts, but no, it was very obvious that he was pushing for a move. So let him go. If he's not there fully, you want everyone who wants to be 100% there because at this elite level, look, just being 10% out the door, it's just you lose so much edge. I think we've seen that this year to an extent. And obviously, Edison's had great moments, breaking assist records as well. And I don't think we'll see that level of ability with Diogo Costa at his feet, but I think we'll see a guy who wants to be here and is fully focused and could be, hopefully, City's number one for an awful long time if he comes in.
Yeah, I think Edison leaving it probably does make sense now. I think he'll and soon enter the final year of his contract as well. So for City, it's the last chance really to get some money for him as well. And for Costa, 25 years old, yeah, he's one of the most highly rated goalkeepers in Europe. I think the likes of United and Chelsea and Barcelona have also been linked. So for City, what sort of statement do you think that would send out for City to win the race for someone like him and get him in their squad for next season?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's more a statement that we're not going anywhere, that we are willing to reinvest and build another great side. And of course, a lot of these sides just big on keepers as well. United spent 50 million on Arne. It's not gone particularly well. Chelsea could do with a great keeper. They haven't got one at all. They've been a shambles on that front. They spent like, what 70 million on Kepa a few years back, and it's just the money for keepers is big these days. And it shows that City are, aggressive about rebuilding their squad. He's the right age, the right profile. I think he's the kind of the profile as well where you can tell he's ready to take the next step from being very good potential to hopefully great. And I think, yeah, like goalkeepers rarely make a statement. They're not the most exciting signings, but I think the manner of the rebuild, him as one of many parts of the big picture, shows that City are clearly intent and aggressive on ensuring that this reign of dominance, it's not about to come to an end. That we will have a young side as well, for what it's worth, that can immediately compete to the top. And Diogo Costa, I don't, in a good way, I don't think City will notice much of a difference. I think he'll come in and it'll be a very smooth transition between him and Ederson. Ederson probably better on the ball. But Diogo Costa's really good with his feet, maybe not quite Ederson. Ederson's one of one in my opinion, but he's very good. He's probably even a slightly better shot stopper than Ederson. And I think ultimately it'll be a smooth transition. And that to me is what I think rivals will fear. Like they'll want to see a bit of uncertainty. They'll want to see a drop off. But I think he'll come in and be like, he's just going to slot right in seamlessly. And I think that will be the biggest benefit and maybe the biggest message to send to everyone else.
Yeah, if Costa was to sign for City and become Guardiola's number one, do you think that would have any effect on the future of Stefan Ortega? Would he be content to stay as number two? He's there were times where he's tipped to potentially succeed Ederson, but that doesn't seem to be on the cards now, does it?
No, he's had a few auditions this year, and I just don't feel like he made the most of them. Unfortunately, there was a spell last year where there was some rumours that Ederson was a little bit put out when Ortega sort of got the shirt a little bit towards the end of the season, and I felt Ortega would really take that chance and kick on this year, but he's had a few mistakes and looked a little bit hesitant, which was a sort of sharp contrast to his performances as a backup keeper last year. I think there's an element of him not playing much um, high level football. I know he's played in the Bundesliga, but I'm on about Champions League as a potential number one for a title winning side and so on. I definitely think it got to him a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know. It might have just been a confidence issue or the team was in a slump too. But he definitely didn't grab that opportunity in the way that he probably would have liked to. So I think ultimately Ortega is a really good goalkeeper. And I don't know what lies for him, but I don't think he'll be number one, unfortunately. I think it's very obvious with these links that City want a younger keeper who feel could take the shirt for an awful long time. I think he might want to leave as well, if I'm being honest. There's some rumours that, lots of big German clubs want him. Gets out of Germany and starts for, I can't remember who it was, but there's a lot of big clubs linked to, wasn't it? You probably
I
know,
think
Ollie.
recently there's been Leverkusen, I think, is
That's the
one
one,
that's been
Leverkusen,
linked.
yeah.
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
could
it's
be Germany's
possible.
number one if he plays regularly
Mm.
for them, and that would be a massive move for him. So, yeah, I think that might be what he fancies, something like that. At the same time, it's not a bad live backup keeper for City.